o'clock. I guess I can start the meeting and call it to order. And Emma, could you please do a roll call? Are you there, Emma?
Oh, now we lost Emma. Says she's there. Says she's muted.
That's kind of a problem.
Emma, we cannot hear you. I think you're muted.
She's been unmuting and muting herself. I think she's having issues.
Okay.
Huge lemon. Or maybe
She sent a little message. She's going to rejoin.
yeah, my computer, I got it supposedly fixed, but
And let's see.
Can you hear me?
yay.
Yay!
Sorry about that. Roll call. Director Daniels,
Yes, I'm here.
Vice President LaHue,
Yes, here.
Director Jaffe. Director Jaffe? Absent. Director Christensen?
Sure.
And President Lather.
I'm here. So do we have any requests for?
Yes, we have one public comment on the closed session.
I'm taken aback by my yellowness, sorry.
Ignore it, don't worry.
Emma, when you came back in, you became host, so I can't unmute attendees at the moment.
1 second.
Ms. Steinbrenner?
Hello, this is Becky Steinbrenner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, board. I just want to say before you go into closed session that I am very sorry that I am compelled to take the legal actions that I am doing. And I'm not alone. I've told you this many times. I'm meeting people constantly that are cheering me on, very supportive, and have the same concerns that I do. The biggest one by far is that the Pure Water Soquel project would inject the treated sewage water into the aquifer with unknown levels of contaminants of emergent concern that are unregulated, with unknown levels of pharmaceuticals, and in accidents, maybe contaminants beyond repair of the pristine Purisma aquifer. So once again, on behalf of the public, many of them being your customers, I beg you to please not inject recycled water into the aquifer. Instead, please pursue purple pipe irrigation options. There are many places, golf courses, athletic fields, county parks, that are going brown now that could benefit by recycled water and thereby reduce the amount of pumping from the groundwater levels. I will continue to pursue this with all vigor, and I'm sorry, but it is your uncooperativeness. And in the case of the subsequent EIR that should have been done and put out to public comment that was not, that simple act would have prevented legal action that I do plan to appeal.
Is there anybody else?
I think it's just that one.
Okay, so then we will close.
For the sake of the public, should we just mention again that, the whole state is like, there was another article today that came out about how important it is to be using purified water, especially now for all of the areas of California to become more resilient and be able to weather some of the water shortages that we're all dealing with. So I don't know. There's the whole state's behind it. So anyway, sorry.
Oh. Okay, anybody else have anything to say before we go into closed session? Okay, then we will be going in closed session and returning at 7 p.m. Else here?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll bring the meeting back to order and we'll move to the board members' opportunity to remove items from the consent agenda.
President Lather, I apologize. Just wanted to report no reportable action out of closed session before we move on.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Josh, also, did you, are we still reporting out
Yes.
on item 6.1 or?
Yeah, thanks, Ron. In addition, I actually don't have a report tonight, so we can pull item 6.1 if that's okay with the board.
Great.
Thanks for
Thanks.
reminding me, Ron.
Sorry, I was late. I needed to get a soda or something because I was thirsty. Okay, so do any board members have anything that they'd like to pull from the consent agenda?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from me.
Is Carla here?
Her icon is here. However, I do not see or hear her.
I'm here and I have nothing to pull from the.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, Carla. I just didn't see you.
No, I had to find a drink too.
Yeah, I know. I was really thirsty. It's a warm day. Okay, so then we'll move on to the consent agenda.
I'll move. Oh, wait, we have public comment at the beginning.
Yes, 4.0.
The public member that requested to speak on this item is not attending the meeting currently.
Okay, then I'll make the motion to approve the items on consent.
I will second that.
Okay. Can
Roll
you
call,
call, please?
Director Daniels,
Yes, please.
Vice President LaHue,
Yes.
Director Jaffe is absent, Director Christensen,
Yes.
and President Lather.
Yes. So we will go to oral and written communications.
Yep.
Let me see, there's a chat. Oh, that was Josh. Okay, so we will, do we have anyone that requested to speak on oral and written communications?
Had one public member, but she has not joined the meeting yet.
Okay, so we will move. Is anybody else got any?
Nope, I'm good.
Nothing from me.
Yeah,
Sometimes
move along.
Bruce or Carla. Okay, I don't see any, so we will move, we'll skip reports because there is none. And we will go to administrative business. There are no conditional or unconditional will serves. So the next item is resolution honoring Michael Agwan, who is retiring.
Oops.
Is this Christine?
Actually, this is Tracy Hart. Tracy.
Sorry, Ron.
That's okay. And if Tracy's not on, I'll just say a few words. Tracy or. Okay. Michael is, preferred not to us to read the resolution. He speaks louder by his actions, but we all, it's there. And, I can just say time and time again, when you meet somebody like him and by his actions, the things that he does, he is one of the most stand-up people I've ever had the pleasure of working with or even outside work. So, there's a motion in front of you here tonight to honor that.
I have to say that a friend of mine who's a constituent was very upset to hear that he was retiring. So that people out there actually do know Michael.
I move approval.
Second,
Okay, so we'll take a roll call.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President Leahy,
absolutely. So nice to have people that really, make people feel, not only cared for, but they do, as an example for others. So thank you, Michael, if you're listening.
Director Jaffe is absent. Director Christensen,
Yes, and congratulations on his retirement. You deserve
and
it.
President Lather.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we will move to the next item, which is 7.3. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was another recognition, sorry. Of public members' service on district standing committees. I was sad to see some of these people leave. From my,
Yes, I'll take this. Yeah, some of them moved out of the district and others have served a couple years and feel like they've, I think, probably done their duty for the community. I'll just read a paragraph out of the memo. It's on the end of the first page. I just think it's worthwhile, not only because Mr. Dickinson's here, but a couple of the potential new standing committee members. And, we know the value that these people provide, and I want to be very specific. So, Mr. Ness, he, with his financial background, provided that big picture view. I think that helped our financial team. Ms. Thompson's knowledge, she had that background in communicating science to the public, was great assistance. I know she personally reviewed some of our materials and saw some great additions and to that. And John Dickinson, who I see is online, he doesn't stop. We get materials from him at least weekly, articles from either the New York Times, and his background in the tech industry and the computer and running magazines and that sort of thing has been invaluable. And just, also keeping our spirits up. So thank you there. And Mr. Gerard, he was an engineer for another local water agency. So obviously his water sector and engineering experience was very fruitful and insightful. And Mr. Larry Freeman, who's since moved out of the district, but AKA the $50 million man, if that's not an impact, I don't know what is. He alerted us to the state water grant that we secured. So, putting that in front of us was awesome. And his science coming from the USGS Geological Survey was fantastic. Ms. Kaplan, good common sense input along the way, just solid. And Mr. Pete Cartwright, who had a well that was intruded by seawater, brought real life awareness to the situation, and his subtle adds along the way, just really valuable. We could go on and on. I'll keep it short, but that kind of just tells you a little bit about each person. And I know from staff and the board too, we really value that input and that we obtain from the standing committee members. Thank you. And I think this is just informational.
Yeah.
okay, did anybody else have anything to say before we move on?
I'll speak up a little bit. I worked with all of those people on the different committees because I served on all of those at various times, and I really did appreciate the energy and the intelligence that they provided to the committee meetings. So it's sorry to see some of them go, but it proved the value of our committee system.
Okay, it looks like everybody else is, I can't ever tell if people are frozen and it's my internet or there's just nothing to say. So please forgive me if I accidentally talk over you. Next is the agenda item 7.4. to consider approval of a resolution to approve accepting the SWIC loan agreement for 37 million.
Yes, and Leslie's going to take that, I think, the lead on that.
So thank you, everyone. Good evening. Item 7.4 is by motion and by roll call pursuant to the Pure Water Soquel EIR and addendum to approve resolution 2113 or provide guidance on it or alternative action. So resolution 2113 is a confirming resolution that would direct us to execute the SWIC loan agreement. The SWIC loan agreement has been reviewed by our bond counsel, by district council, by the funding team members for Pure Water Soquel, by our financial advisor, Piper Sandler. And so we've worked hand in hand with the board to hammer out the terms of this agreement. We're in a substantially complete form with the draft agreement, but there are some details that we will add upon agreement execution, such as the final loan amount, the final interest rate, which won't exceed the 1.3 that was authorized in November of 2019. We can draw down the funds as we need to. We only pay interest on the amounts drawn. The interest does begin to accrue upon drawing down the funds. The term of the SWIC loan is 20 years from the date of the first disbursement, which we hope to be sometime this fall. We will repay the principal annually, just as we do with our other loan agreements. We'll try and get it coordinated so that those payments are due in March and September, as are all of our debt payments due. So the key terms are included in here, but what we're asking for tonight is the board to confirm that we have the authority to execute this SWIC loan agreement, hopefully by the end of August, early September. If there's any changes you'd like to recommend, any steps you'd like us to take, feel free to provide us guidance on that. Otherwise, we would ask that by motion and by roll call that you approve resolution 2113.
Okay, do we have public comment on this?
Yes, we have one.
Ms. Steinbruner?
Hello, this is Becky Steinbruner. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Hello? Thank you. I'm sorry, I was at the Santa Cruz City Water Rights meeting, and I've joined late. I have no idea where we are in the agenda. Can you let me know?
We are at the SWIC loan approval.
Which item number is that?
7.4.
Oh my, you've gone quick. You know, I will not comment because I'm not really prepared and a little bit taken aback. So I'm sorry. I have no comment at this time.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Sun.
I would move approval then.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So to be clear, Josh, do we?
Number one.
Yes, number one, approval.
Thank you. Yep.
Roll call, Director Daniels,
Yes,
Vice President LaHue.
Yep.
Director Jaffe is absent. Director Christensen
Yes.
and President Lather.
Yes.
this is a really great loan for us to get. I mean,
It is wonderful.
we're
Good
kind of
job.
in the driver's seat with this whole thing, everything we could ask for really in terms of flexibility and so forth. Leslie and her team have put in there, so this is great.
It is really good.
We're lucky to have Leslie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we move on.
Yes, and Emma is going to take the lead on this, and she was the focal point, Miss Olin was, and I think, and described the process probably and handed off to Director Christensen, who was also heavily involved.
Okay, so this is agenda item 7.5. Emma?
Hi, everyone. This is Emma. So I wanted to introduce item 7.5, which presents to the full board the review and selection committee's recommendations for public members to serve on the district's 3 standing committees. So just wanted to give a little bit of background. At the May 18th board meeting this year, the board initiated the public member recruitment process, and they appointed directors Christensen and Daniels to work with staff on the review and selection committee. So the application period opened after that meeting. It was open for more than 3 weeks and closed on June 14th. We received 14 applications. Of the 14, 12 viable applications were received, and those are included in attachment 1. And I also wanted to just thank public members for their interest and say that we received a lot of qualified applicants. And I know some of them are attending tonight as bystanders, and we may have 1 public comment. I think that kind of sums up the process. So I wanted to hand it over to Director Christensen for the recommendations.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you. I too was impressed with the depth of the applicants to volunteer their time for these committees. And so we really focused on finding the best fit for each committee, and understanding that these committees go for 2 years and there's always an opportunity to go join another committee or request another committee for the future 2 years. So, but thank you so much for applying. And I'll just state we had one person who late in the process removed herself from consideration. So we're down to 11 committee members. And so I'll just go through for outreach. We have recommending Gloria Rice, Michael Gutierrez, and Stephen Graff. And for water resources management and infrastructure, we have 4 that we thought would be a very good fit for that committee: Garrett Goto, James Zakos, Jennifer Balboni, and Merrill Abramson. And for Finance and Administrative Services Committee, John Dickinson. He previously served on the Water Resources Management and Infrastructure Committee, but decided to use some of his acumen to aid the Finance Committee. Joseph Marici, Karen McCarty, and Kelly Guerra. And I think I will just leave it up to the public comment, but I highly recommend all these volunteers who are giving us their time to be in the committee.
Thank you, Carla. So do we have any public comment?
Yes, we have 2 public comments. We will start with Ms. Steinbrunner's.
Okay.
Ms. Steinbruner?
Hello, this is Becky Steinbrunner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to thank the people who have stepped up to volunteer on these committees also. Their interests and backgrounds are fascinating. And to that end, perhaps you have answered my question already. I was very surprised to see that Ms. Tara Lynn Reese was not on a committee, given her background with a master's in water resource management and co-author of groundwater management policy. So if you can please inform me why Ms. Reese is not on any of these committees, I would appreciate that. I also have a question about on page 160, 161, Mr. John White, a civil engineer, was not placed on a committee because it says his application was not complete. But I see everything essentially filled out, and wondered if staff reached out to him to fill the voids that staff felt were there. I just don't see that in his application, but having a civil engineer on the committees would be helpful. And also Mr. John Paris from San Rafael filled out an application, and I wondered if staff investigated if he was a property owner here, but maybe his utility bill is under the tenant's name. What were the circumstances of him applying from San Rafael and rejected by the committee, for the committee? Thank you very much. And again, I'm very much looking forward to meeting these good volunteers.
Rochelle, you're muted.
Ms. Balboni?
I noticed that. The next person, please.
I see, Ms. Balboni, I see you've unmuted yourself. But we don't hear you.
Oh, this is
You are?
Jennifer Balboni, and I just wanted to say hello and to just put a face to my name and to reiterate my energy and enthusiasm for volunteering for the Infrastructure Standing Committee. And that's it. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Balboni. Appreciate.
Thank you. And I'll say thank you too, and say hi to Tessa.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you on the committee. Thank you.
Yes. Any other speakers?
There were no other requests to speak submitted for tonight.
Okay, thank you, Emma. So we will go back to the board.
I have something to mention.
Some of these people, so.
We had originally thought about putting 2 members on each committee. And in thinking about it, we thought to put a little, first of all, to encourage people who did apply to see if we can get them used. And also, we thought that it would be nice to have more than 2 because sometimes people move away or something comes up. And so this would give us, if you like a jury, it would give us some alternates. And that's something we thought would be important. So that's why you see 3 or 4.
Hey, I'm pretty much up for human beings in my life right now, so it's good to have 3 or 4.
And thank you, Carla and Bruce and Emma for organizing all this. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it really looked like you got some good candidates. I appreciate
Yeah, I'm
it.
excited.
Me too. Okay, so we are supposed to by motion select and appoint.
I'll make the motion to appoint the recommended members of the committees.
That's number 1.
Number 1.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President LaHue,
Yes.
Director Jaffe is absent, Director Christensen,
Yes.
and President Lather.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Congratulations to those who applied and were recommended. They're on the line and the ones that are not.
Yeah. When will they start? Next meetings?
Monday, I believe, for the finance.
Okay.
Is that right, Leslie?
Great.
We'll be reaching out. Thank you.
Awesome.
So now we're at 7.6.
Yes, and I'll take this one. Per our policy for board members to attend conferences, it has to come up in front of the whole board. So you see that in front of you tonight for 2 upcoming conferences, CSDA, California Special Districts Associations, their annual conferences in Monterey this year. And I know Leslie's going to be attending and I'll be attending some of that. It's more around policy, board governance, and that sort of thing. So it's not just water, it's cemeteries, harbors, all kinds, but that's there in case you're interested. And then water reuse California is, well, first of all, CSDA will be in person, at least as of now. And water reuse is in person and remote. So you get your options. Some of us will be attending that, some of us presenting at that conference. And it's in September 19th through the 21st. So I just want to encourage you, if you're interested and haven't let Tracy know already, please, to either one of those, please do, because there's a lot of logistics that need to be worked out. And I assume the California reuse will be still going on in person, but as we know, things could change down in LA with COVID and the variant. So there is a motion in front of you to request approval. Two of them.
Okay, so we have to,
Any public comment?
yeah, first we have to have, is there public comment?
No public comment on this item.
Okay, is there discussion among board members?
I mean, I'm planning to go remotely to the water reuse.
Yeah, and I'd like to go to the water reuse in person if possible.
I'll make the motion that it's okay for both 1 and 2.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President LaHue,
Yes.
Director Jaffe is absent, Director Christensen,
Yes.
and President Lather.
Yes.
Thank you.
What is next, Emma? For some reason, I don't have,
Adjournment.
yeah, so there's adjournment. How could I miss that?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. This
Yeah,
is
good job.
night. Okay.
Great.
Thank you. See you back
Well,
at the one meeting in August. Thank you, if not before.
Yeah,
Okay,
so the meeting's adjourned and we'll see you in August.
Night.
Night.
Right, good evening.
There. There.
Good night.